Hello, my friends. 'Tis I, Alphinius Goo, here in my study at Gooey headquarters, and I am here with Cameramendi. Say hello, Cameramendi. Hello. No, that's not very good, Cameramendi. You could do better than that. Hello. No, that's not good either, Cameramendi. You really need to work on it. By the way, this bonnet, I do not like it, Harry, and I wish to get one that does not have a bonnet immediately, as quickly as possible. In fact, you should hand the one to me that's sitting right over there immediately. Come on, Harry. Bring it on, bring it on. Bring it on in, yes. Yes, thank you. Marvelous, marvelous, excellent. We will talk to Harry later. This is much better. Yes. Ha-ha, Cameramendi, you and your hatters, you have no more chances to hat me anymore. I shall now be unhatted. Oh, Alphinius, you're so amazing. What a wizard you are.
Okay,
you're just off the hook.
Okay, I gotta stop you there. There are some things that Cameramendi would never say. And you're not off the hook. You are amazing, but you're not off the hook.
All right, Cameramendi, it's fine. Whatever, let us continue on. I am moving these. Yes, Cameramendi, cut to the other camera. Let us be done with this madness. Hello, my friends. It is I, Alphinius Goo, with Cameramendi behind the camera. Say hello, Cameramendi.
Hello.
Oh, that's much better, Cameramendi. That little one was doing a terrible job, just awful. But that's kind of how you usually do it. So it's nice to actually have you get a little enthusiasm behind it like that. I appreciate that very much. But we are here, very exciting news today, because we are doing the Gooey immersion with Michelle and her wonderful niece and Harry and his wonderful son. And we're going to have, we're going to play some games, and we're going to do some other things, and we're going to plan an adventure and a whole mess of other stuffs. But before I do that, I want to show you something. Look at this right here. This is something that dear Michelle brought us this. And it is a wonderful a piece of artwork. But it's not the only one. There was a second one that was done of the Dimensional Slinker, which hopefully I'll be able to show later when the cameraman gives me a chance. Perhaps when we're sitting around the game table with the team. We'll see what happens about that. Should be pretty fun. But there's also this thing. Okay, cameraman, I'm moving it to the little camera. Yes? Right here, you know. Harry Pothead, or whatever his name is, has nothing on this wand. Can you even see that, cameraman? Yes? Oh, she's zooming out. Look at that. This is way better. Expelliarmus. Ha-ha! Anyway, that is from Smash Case. Is that not marvelous? And then there is this thing. Yes, this abomination. Yes, I believe Marcus has sent us this thing. Yes, and Marcus, you see this? Never! Ha-ha! Never, never, never! Ha-ha-ha-ha-ha! In fact, I would punch it, but I'm going to keep it for posterity. Yes.
It is literally the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
What?
Except for the hat art that Michelle made.
Yes, the hat art that Michelle made. Yes, there's hat things everywhere around here. Anyway, Michelle, what are you doing here in this study?
I was wandering around the offices, and I found this really cool book.
What is that? Come here, come a little closer, come a little closer. Just pull that microphone, nobody cares.
I found this book while I was just wandering around the offices, and I thought maybe like people would like to see it.
Look at that. Should I put it to the little camera too, Cameramendi, or the... look, yes, the little camera, yes.
You could move the top book there.
Never mind, Cameramendi. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to flip like this. I'm going to flip like this. Hold on, I'm going to flip like this. Look, the dang thing is enormous.
Amazing.
It is huge. It has 350 pages of amazing lore of the entire Westford. Yes, it is good, yes?
It's amazing. I was playing with it in the other room.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Give us a hug. Oh, by the way, look. She has a hat on, too. Lean down, right there. Yes, you see this little thing? I will never wear one of those either. Never. All right, my friend.
Hatters have infiltrated.
The Hatters are everywhere. Yeah, I know. Harry the Hatter, Michelle the Hatter, and then there's, again, this damn thing. Never, Marcus. Never. Ha ha. All right, so we will move on. All right. So, cameraman, do you want me to do a little reading right now? Is that the next thing you wish me to do?
Yes, it is time for your Zyathé reading.
So this is Goo Morning Zyathé. Yes, it is the show, and we're trying to do a good job for you and hopefully entertain you and not bore you. Hopefully we'll do all of those things. And as you know, as part of Goo Morning Zyathé, we've been doing readings from the Ventenium Alunax, which is the historical record of the world of Zyathé. Yes, and as part of this reading, so to speak, that we have done, yes, we have some things that we have read in the past. And if you recall from last time, the Whisperers were talking to the gods of evil and encouraging them to do things against the gods of neutrality and goodness that perhaps without such pushing they might not have ever done. But as we learned at the end of the last chapter, they were too late when the war began. And the next chapter is called The Great Betrayal. Even as they took steps to safeguard themselves and their worshippers from harm, the evil brothers and sisters of the gods of neutrality and goodness completely succumbed to the Whisperer's machinations. Blinded by their envy and hatred, the gods of evil and their armies stormed from their deific citadels to attack the principalities of the other gods, their charge so furious that the plains shook and careened. The servants of the good and neutral gods met the assault with all the force at their disposal, and after many pitched battles, pushed back against the evil tide. But the gods of evil had not been idle. They had also created great beings of might and power. Their constructs, known as the Zyathé, were the embodiment of evil strength. Shaped as tentacled titans of the blackest obsidian, they attacked the Zyath and the Zyathene, and the world of Zyathé was nearly torn asunder. All of this, however, was but a diversion for the true plans of the gods of evil. While the fighting raged in the deific plains, deep within the heart of the creation, the evil gods Gotrundle, the lord of schemes, Gloom, the god of thieves, and Slay, the assassin god, did the unfathomable. Sneaking into the halls of making, they threw wide the gates protecting the Zyanthus. Then Sha'ada, the goddess of dark magic, channeled the powers of all the evil gods into the flow in the manner which the Whisperer had instructed. As they had been promised by the dark voices in their dreams, the gods of evil were immediately infused with incredible power, the like of which they had never felt before. They renewed their assault on the gods of goodness and neutrality and unleashed their wrath against them. And for the first time ever, since the beginning of time, gods died. First to fall was Endriana, the life-giver, struck down by Flamarish, the vile god of decay. Next was Aromar, the Lord Protector, who was torn apart by Duranok, the Warcaller, and Discorduun, the god of strife. As the war raged, more would fall. Sabrine, the goddess of law, Verdana, the lady of the forests, and Thealos, the goddess of martyrs, who gave her life to save Evoke, Branad, and Haleona. The gods of evil were also not spared losses, as Flamarish, slayer of Endriana, was in turn slain by Kismia, the lady of luck, and Jinx, the trickster god. And Slajiv, the lady tyrant and leader of the lawful evil gods, was slain in single combat with Wardane, the lord protector. Though the gods of goodness and neutrality fought bravely, the newfound powers of the gods of evil were mighty, and for a time it seemed that evil would prevail. But then, as quickly as the magical imbuement had come upon them, it abandoned the evil gods, leaving them to the anger and retribution of their peers. For the gods of evil had been deceived. Yes, my friends, and the next chapter is called The Rise of Corruption. But because we have so much to do in this show, we're not going to read the second chapter this time. We're going to do it next week on Goo Morning Zyathé, the Gooey stream, yes, which Camera Mandy doesn't want me to say. But I say it anyway, just to bother her sometimes. My apologies, Camera Mandy. Anyway, so we will do more next week on Goo Morning Zyathé. In the meantime, we're going to talk to Harry, we're going to talk to Michelle, we're going to talk to Michelle's niece, we're going to talk to Harry's son, we're going to even have Mike playing with us, we're going to play some games, we're going to do all kind of crazy stuff, and we're going to look at Harry's miniatures and maybe get a look at the dimensional slinker that Michelle made for us. All right, my friends,
But
onward.
first?
What? Is there something first? Wait a minute, hold on, I must dab, Camera Mandy. It's always hot in this studio because Camera Mandy refuses to pay for air conditioning.
But first, a premiere.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Camera Mandy, much to my chagrin, has made a most marvelous thing that I think you are going to love. Yes. A little video, which we're going to show right now.
One, 2, 3, 4,
5.
5,
Yes, 5.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I got it.
Well done, sir. Well done. That is the slowest counting to 10 we've ever had anybody do. Yes, camera Mandy?
Oh my goodness. But the audio sounds good, doesn't it, audience, hopefully?
All right, are you ready?
We are rolling. We are going.
All right. Hello, my friends. It's I, Alphinius Goo again. Yes, sitting next to Marvelous Harry, the guy who does Harry's miniatures. Say hello, Harry.
Hello, Harry.
Damn it.
Is
Say
that your
hello. Say hello to the audience.
Hello, audience.
Yes, very good, very good. So many of you know that long ago, and it was the first miniature you ever did, right? You made a miniature and sent it to me, right?
Yeah. So I went to Gen Con and was really loving the stuff. In fact, yours was the first booth I went to. And
I remember your hat. I remember.
I was actually almost dressed exactly like this, and just loved that first module. And one of the monsters in the module was the Arachnic Revenant, which I thought was a really cool take on an undead creature. And so I'm a sculptor by trade in the digital form. So I sculpted one, and then reached out and said, "Hey, what do you guys think?" And joined the Facebook, and then I did Myron the Ugly Troll, and then I've done, I think, 50 miniatures now.
But can you sing the song?
I cannot. I have it. I'm capable of singing it, but I do not know the
Someday
song.
we will try to sing it together. The next Gen Con.
The next Gen
We'll get
Con.
everybody at the party. We'll hand out sheets so that everybody has the words. And after everybody's had like 5 drinks, we'll all do the Myron there. And I'm gonna record that. Camera Mandy, that is something for your documentary, right?
Singing Myron the Ugly
So,
Troll.
announcement, we will be shooting a documentary at Gen Con. Thank you, Alphinius.
Yes, we shall be shooting a documentary at Gen Con. Yes, that's what we're going to be doing. It'll be a lot of fun. So you get to be a part of that craziness that Camera Mandy wants to do. And we will sing Myron the Ugly Troll at the party on Friday night. Yes, so if you're coming to Gen Con, be prepared. Warm up your singing voice. Use that stuff. Anyway, back to Harry. So Harry... tell us a little bit about. So we've got all these really cool miniatures, and then there's this chicken. So let's get the chicken out of the way first. Before wait a
I don't
minute,
know if everybody can see the chicken.
This is not a duck, right? Oh, can they not see the chicken?
Everyone can
Hold
see
on,
the chicken.
hold
Oh,
on.
you
I
can
will
see the
move the
chicken.
chicken forward. Bark, 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 bark. Can you see the chicken now, Camera Mandy?
Here, I'll go for a close up on the chicken. Just give me a second, guys.
So while she's doing a close up on
Close
the
up
chicken,
on the chicken.
So
God, this show is getting worse by the week.
worse by the week. That's right. As soon as you add Harry to the show, you just lose all. But Sir Bok Bok is his name. So there's an artist that I was inspired by. In fact, almost all of my creations are inspired either by what I read or by the art, and I want to put it in 3D. And so I made that chicken. I call him Sir Bok Bok. The artist didn't actually have a name. I actually reached out and asked if I could get permission to, make this available to people, and he actually said no. So it's Harry only. A few friends have a copy that I was able to do for personal reasons. But yeah, I can't make that available to anybody. But I do like to show it off because it's actually one of my better paint jobs as well.
Ah, very nice. So we have quite a number. We have like a Snagita, yes?
Snagita is a character.
Camera Mandy, you got to jump up and read. Why don't you just stay on the main camera, on the little camera, yes? So this is Snagita right here, yes? This is Snagita. She is one of the ogres from chapter 3, yes?
Yep.
Yes, and then of course the astral worms.
That's a submission I did for the Gooey contributors, astral worms, and they were actually based on a real life creature that lives in the Arctic that doesn't have eyes and it has these really nasty looking teeth. So we created this creature for the world of Zyathé. There's actually art for it even now, and so yeah.
Yeah, we made artwork for it, which is marvelous.
I would just like to apologize that my head was in the last shot. I thought I had transitioned over to the close-up shot. And I had not.
Like I said, this show's getting worse by the week, Camera Mandy. Oh my God.
I had a really great shot of Snagita that no one will ever see.
Because your head was in the way.
And because it wasn't on the close-up camera. Can you move Snagita over
to where the chicken is?
Listen, I'll move Snagita. I'll move them to the front. How about that? All right, there is Snagita. Is she not marvelous? Look, she is wonderful. Yes, she is fantastic. She's standing next to Alphinius. Ignore the hat. Just let's move this Alphinius to the back.
That Alphinius is beautiful. I think it needs to be next to. I think that they'd make a fabulous couple.
Hold on, wait a minute. Here, look at this.
Alphinius?
Look at this. What is this, Harry? Right here. Can you see what I moved up there? You can see it on the
it's
thing.
the Catigator.
The Catigator! Ha ha! Patrick, you are there, my friend. Yes.
So I sculpted one with an actual cat face, but nobody liked it. So I made one that's like a catfish gator combo that's similar to the art that was done for the creature. So it's a nice little piece. I like doing the creatures. They're a lot of fun because you can just go so crazy and have so much fun. But the characters are the most popular,
course.
Right? So
everybody likes them.
Everybody likes the characters. But
Well, the
there's quite a bit more
Catigator came from because I kept telling people that's why we did the blood touch, right? That was
right.
the whole idea, was to give people the opportunity to be able to be whatever they wanted, and as the game master, you didn't have to go make a race. And I kept saying, and then somebody comes up to you and wants to be a Catigator, right? And then Patrick drew the thing, right, and made it his little thing, and then the next thing I know, the Catigator is appearing.
That's right, and then now it's going to be a monster, I believe. In the
Oh
monster
yes,
tag.
yeah. Chapter 4, you will find Catigator. In fact, chapter 4, you will find Catigators. Yes, marvelous.
Oh yeah, they play a big role in chapter 4.
Yes, they do. Yes, and you got that today. Yes.
I have the PDFs I've been reading, and I now have the physical version.
Yeah, today, because they are here and they are going out. We are starting to ship them. I hope you all love them. I think they are magnificent, truly. And then there's this right here. Yes, this is the Vlion. Yes,
Yep.
Yes, Harry, we'll move out of Snagita. Move, Snagita, get out of the way. Yeah. There is the Vlion, which is a marvelous monster. You want to tell us about that one a little bit?
So that's another one that was just a photo or a photo of the illustration that was put on Facebook in the den. And I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. Let me work on that. So I put it together, and I guess that's one of your creations.
Yes, it is. And Mandy, we showed it last week in the last show. So people got to actually see the artwork in the last show, which is very, very cool. And then, so let's talk about a couple of these.
Oh, wait. I think I still have the Vlion. Oh, we can show the Vlion.
Oh,
There it is,
you can
right
put
there.
it up right there. Oh, look, cameraman just clicked. You see how she clicks transition? And then that comes up like that, right? See, that's how it goes.
So you can see wow. It
Yes.
is a very accurate representation.
Oh, yeah, it's
I would
magnificent.
say.
It is magnificent.
I'm just
So
going to go back and forth a couple more times.
Stop, cameraman. I'm getting a headache. You're killing me right now. All right. So aside from the character, Mr. Bok Bok, yes. So let's. What's this one right here?
That's
yes, this is.
Filthy Floyd.
Oh yes, Filthy Floyd.
Yeah, you probably want to get him closer to the front.
Oh yeah, I need to move him up. I'll move some of these others back. Let's move back here, Catigator. Yes. All right. Let's move Filthy Floyd up there, and then why don't we move? Is this who I think it is? This is Natalia Hardfox. Is
Yep.
that who that is? Yes. Oh yes.
Yep.
So tell us first about Filthy Floyd, and then tell us about Natalia.
So Filthy Floyd, again, one of the characters, an NPC this time in the storyline, right?
Chapter 2.
And some of them are just so evocative. I mean, he's great, and you could use him all the time. And Filthy Floyd is just covered in gook, and so he's growing the miniature here. He's growing mushrooms, and so I painted them up like on his feet and on his belt. He's got stuff dripping off of him, so he's really creepy. If you haven't played that adventure and you're a player, be prepared for a creepy dude. And but he was super fun to sculpt and paint, and he's actually available as a miniature on the website.
Yeah, I want everybody to know this, but we'll take a little moment here. We are transitioning to get all of Harry's miniatures up on the Gooey Cube website so that you can get them. And we're actually, Harry and I are thinking about making stills available. Yes. So
yeah,
for
STLs.
folks.
I mean, so for all of you that have 3D printers or you have a friend with a 3D printer, we're looking to make STLs available so we can get stuff to you faster. We'll work through the legal pieces, but we think that'll work. It's so prolific now for people to have their own 3D printers. I think that's just going to be a good way to go.
Yes, and you'll still print for people who want unprinted.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what most of the people that do what I do, they offer the STLs and then they offer to print, either through a service or on their own. I have lots of printers, so I can do it.
And this is really a hobby for you, right? Because it's not for making money, because you got a good job and all that kind of stuff, right? This is just
I have a very successful career in cybersecurity, so yeah, this isn't for money.
Cybersecurity. You need a little help with your computer, Harry can.
Yeah, don't call me. Call companies that do that for a living. I'm in the background. I don't want to tell jokes about work, so I'll keep that to a minimum. But so yeah, I've been sculpting almost as long as I've been gaming. So I started by just painting miniatures, all the old names. Some of you might know Grenadier and Raupartha and those companies. And then I always wanted a different miniature. The miniatures that they sell weren't available. So then I started doing the mods where you would clip and cut different pieces and build it. And then I started sculpting in putty. And then digital came out, and I actually am a way better digital sculptor than I was a physical sculptor. So now I can do almost anything. And so, speaking of almost anything, the other thing I'm doing is the characters that when people have a portrait made as part of their GUI experience, I pick my favorites out of those and I sculpt them in miniature. So, Natai Heartfox, Camera Mandy we saw earlier. I did that one. I just love that vision. She is not.
Brystone is right there. Yes.
Yeah, that's my character, Teok Brystone.
Yes, and that is Kalnavik, right? The Dreadlord right there. Yes.
Yeah, the Dreadnought. I don't know that we can catch him in frame. There we go.
Mandy can scroll or scan or something like that.
So absolutely, those are all characters of people that are part of the GUI community, and we've made them in miniature.
Filthy Floyd. We don't have a Filthy Floyd running around our
So you may not know a Filthy Floyd. Some of us may actually know a Filthy Floyd, so he may be based on a real character.
So wait, since I believe who's this right here? Yes, this is. Let me move that one to the front.
That's Carissa is the name.
Yes,
of the
Carissa's
character.
Amber's Hugh. Yes, that is Carrie's marvelous.
That's
fairy,
right.
Yes.
Yeah, and one of the challenges you'll find when you're doing printing in miniature like this is scale is a big deal. So she's a very small character, but I can't make her as small as she needs to be because it's just too fragile.
Right.
So that's the limit. Just like Mandy's character, the umbrella, I actually had to use brass rod because I couldn't get the umbrella to look good and be small enough. It got really big and bulky and it looked kind of goofy. And so I just used a brass rod instead.
So the tail is really amazing, y'all, because what happened is I got this thing in the mail, this Arachnic Revenant, right? And then I started talking to Harry, and he and I remembered each other from Gen Con. And I said, Harry, we're just a little company. I don't know that you make any money doing this at all. And he says, I'm not doing this for money. He says, I just want to do it because I'm an artist and I love what you're doing. And so lo and behold, that's sort of how it went. And you're blowing people's minds. You put these things up in the den or in the.
Everybody's very kind, absolutely.
Well, it's really wonderful. And what I'm excited about is that we're probably going to be embarking on a little project with Harry because there are no Garund miniatures in the world, right? There are no Sarth miniatures in the world. The Maroon do not exist, right? So we're hopefully going to figure out a way, and hopefully the community will continue to support Harry so that at least he can afford to pay for his digital program, if nothing else, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something for the lighthearted. So this software and I have a studio, much like Camera Mandy does. just to do the digital art. And then I have the printers to do the printing, because you have to prototype it to make sure it'll print successfully before I make it available to someone else.
Right.
So there's a lot of work there. But if you're interested in the art, we can maybe do some of those discussions in future conversations. But just, obviously this is something that's a passion of mine, so I could talk about it for a million years. Just really fun stuff. And I loved one of the nice things about the Gooey community, in addition to the great characters and creatures that are unique and different, there's so much fun to do. And artists are often looking for inspiration. So my work is very stressful, so I don't always have my own ideas. So stealing the ideas from others actually works.
It's not stealing.
Really,
it
really
is a pleasure to give it to you. Like these two. Yes, this is Theros. Yes, so
yeah, he's one of the pre-gen characters.
And want me to move camera Mandy, or I'd move and this of course Kalnovic is Alexander's representation.
Right.
Yes, and so there is Kasserine and Theros. Yes.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me just come.
Do you want me to keep moving things?
Sure,
Is
I'll-
that
Yeah, like you're
helpful?
playing with miniatures on the table.
Yes, all right. Roll initiative.
Yeah.
And there's the little elf too. What's her name?
Tenessi?
Tenessi.
Yeah,
yes,
so
yes.
these are pre-gens, right? So when you buy the Darkest Dream, there's an army of pre-gens available to you. I think you only missed one class out of all of them.
I know, on purpose.
I figured you had it on purpose, but there's plenty of players that want to play Warlock. But anyway, I have most of them sculpted. There's a few that I haven't. Some of them because they're readily available today. Like if you could buy a Reaper miniature,
Yes.
you could do something else because they're very traditional. But I grabbed all the non-traditional ones and they're already done. And then we did some pre-gens for the one-shots and the convention games. And so I've sculpted several of those as well. So there's Tenessi, there's a few more. I don't remember all their names. There's so many characters. But I just finished Gwendolyn. Yeah, she was a lot of fun. One of the things that was nice about Gwendolyn, for those of you that have just been playing a long time, it's a female character, but she's not in a chainmail bikini. She's not, this young, vibrant person. She's,
And she's right here.
Yep, she's in there too.
Yes,
So.
I'll move Kasserine and put her between Theros and she's marvelous. Yes.
And
she's
so
right
it was really fun to make a character that people could have, really enjoy playing, play the character, but not be just that cookie cutter, fantasy archetype for, adolescent men to enjoy.
Yeah. No, Harry, I tell you, right? Camera Mandy.
That was a slow clap.
You can listen. You could put in some a clap track, right? You could like cheers and all kinds of stuff be going on right now, right? Cha, right? No, it is true. We, and this is something Gooey Cube obviously is part of our sort of thing too. I mean, we are so many different people, and we look so different, and have all these differences, and they're wonderful. They're all wonderful, right?
Yeah, one of the wonderful things too about both the pre-gens and some of the other characters that I start feeling like I'm part of the Goo, but that we
You
make
are, sir. You are immersed.
is that there's a lot of realism here. So if a woman's out adventuring, she's certainly not going to be wearing a chainmail bikini. I mean, that just makes absolutely no sense. And so she's wearing the same kind of armor. In fact, I'm working on another one of an elven warrior, with the helmet. It's looking really good, but the armor looks very much like a man.
Yeah, of course.
Right, because that's what you would wear. But she's still very feminine character, so I'll showcase her on the Den soon. But I'm really happy with how she turned out. So it's very strong on the computer, very pretty character as well. At 1 inch tall, sometimes the beauty gets lost. I mean, these are very small miniatures, but a really talented painter can bring out the beauty.
Yes,
I'm
they
not a
can.
talented painter, so the eyes are lopsided and all those things.
But
I
it's.
think they're wonderful.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, and truly, this is like for us, it was kind of a dream come true that Harry showed up. You really, I mean, we couldn't believe it. Remember when we first got the Revenant, and then Myron came in, right? Myron the Ugly Troll came in, and I looked at that, and we had just been back from Dragon Con, maybe, I don't know, a month and a half or 2 months when Myron came in, about a month. And at Dragon Con, we had literally been singing Myron the Ugly Troll because the people next to us, the Rook and the Rook and the Raven, they make these marvelous supplements called the Rook and the Raven. And they had a wonderful group, and we had a wonderful group, and we just were getting on really good. And so we started singing Myron the Ugly Troll. And there was one time we sang Myron the Ugly Troll. It was about like 100 people that broke out in cheers, right? And so here comes, in the mail, comes this Myron the Ugly Troll, right, with his head on the post and all that stuff. And I'm like totally in love with you now, Harry. I can't believe it, right? And the next thing you know, we have all this wonderful, incredible artwork that you have done.
So I am going to Gen Con this year. It's, some of you can make it, some of you can't. I'm for the party. I'm bringing Myrons for everybody.
Harry is the best.
Harry, that's fantastic. I apologize
Yeah,
for
they're
coughing.
already printed and painted. I will give a picture to Mandy to post of all of them all lined up. So
Wow. Wow.
there's about 50 of them.
And and all of you gooey people, we're going to send you an email here, and we need you to respond with your RSVP that you're coming to the party, because we're going to get you a T-shirt, and we have to have your size. And people who have not RSVP'd, we won't be able to maybe accommodate. So make sure you do your duty and respondez-vous s'il vous plaît, right? Which is what RSVP.
Respondez-vous s'il vous plaît.
Right, that's it, right?
Well, since I don't know French, I don't know what that means.
And we will be finishing up the party with a rousing chorus of Harry, Harry, Harry the Marvelous Printer. No?
Okay.
Mandy, stick with making movies. Haha! Hello, friends. We are actually live now from the studio, and these are like gummy. What are these called? These are gummy Sour Patch Kids. Yes, I can't remember. Does not want me to eat on camera. So of course I have to not be the good boy. And so anyway, we're here in the studio.
I see you too, Michelle.
Hello.
Well, we did it now.
So for those few of you who don't know, my real name's Kim, but Alphinius is much more interesting. But when we're doing these here in the studio, we're going to do them as Kim and talk about games and gaming and game master tips and all that kind of stuff. And actually have some wonderful people here. We gamed a long time yesterday. Yes, we gamed quite a bit. Yes.
Yep.
10 hours or so.
10 hours. Yeah. The old rear end is not, unfortunately I can stand up quite a bit, yes. But we had a really, really good time and a very interesting adventure. And I want them to introduce themselves and tell a little bit about their characters. And Casey, I don't know if you and Tanya are watching, but you're going to put a smile on your face when you hear. So how about we start with you, Sir Harry, in the Fez.
Hi, everybody. I'm Harry. As you probably already saw with the different hat yesterday. But anyway, I'm Harry, and I'm playing a character named Darling Everard. He's a bard, half
This
elf.
is kind of embarrassing to say darling all the time to Harry when I'm talking to him, but I keep doing it. Yes, darling. Yes, darling.
Yes, darling.
Okay, darling. Continue on, darling.
He's a bard, and he's been supporting the group, and he's part of the family of adventurers, although we've been kind of cloistered in this really small town or village. And so getting out to the big city, I think the population of the town we're in now is 500, but it's like this overwhelming number of people for me. But it's been a great fun. Great.
All right. Sir Spencer, would you like to give us a little intro?
My name is Spencer, and I've been playing a wizard named Tallow, who is actually just, taken in by a group of scribes in a small town, just doing record keeping and other things to try and keep the written record going. Because lots of stuff gets lost in translation or in fires, all the disasters.
Seemed you remembered something quite important at the end of the game last night. Yes, before we finished. Yes, and no spinning when you're on camera. No spinning. Yes, right.
That's no fun.
Say, I apologize for spinning, audience. I hope it did not make you sick.
Oh, well, yeah.
I have a question for the audience.
Yes.
So we had a spirited debate yesterday about whether gnomes are fun characters to play, and so I want to hear Team Gnome or Team No Gnome.
See, that's a trick question. Is obviously yes. It's great.
Yeah, Spencer's got a great gnome, and he met 3 gnomes, right? There were 3 gnomes last night, yes? I'm talking to Alphinius. See, that's the problem. I'm driving along with Ms. Goo. We're going out to dinner. I'm like, honey, where would you like to eat tonight? Yes, like that. And she's like, you're in the loop, right? So that happens quite often. So
The Alphinius loop.
the Alphinius loop.
The Alphinius
yes.
loop.
Yeah,
You call something that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was fun last night. We we gained some information, which was very important, I think. So well done. It was well done. Well, Michelle, been around Gooey Cube like almost from the beginning. So was Harry.
Yeah.
Harry showed up at Gen Con.
Purely accidental, too.
I know. Go ahead, tell him.
I'm Michelle. And I am playing a Garooned monk named Amalthea. And my family is living outside of this town, and my father recently passed, and my mother left town, and we kind of intercepted a letter that wasn't really meant for us, but we took advantage of the opportunity to leave. And so I dragged all of my friends here out to the main city to help me with my quest. And a lot of things have turned out not the way we thought. And we've learned a lot of things that we didn't know about our families. And we're excited to learn more.
I love how our group thinks this is the city.
Yeah, right.
Yes, this is the big city.
I've never said.
Here we are in the big city.
I feel like I
My
fit
head
this role
too.
because I'm from the little city.
Well, I keep shaking
A
my head
little
because I have
bitty
the
town.
records of the actual cities, so I know what they really probably look like, sort of.
Yeah, so you got a better grasp of it than the rest of them. But anyway, before
place is
we introduce, yeah, it's enormous, right?
It's also everybody talks about family, and I don't have one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's kind of the orphan of the group, but they took him in, right? Before we go to this next person I want you to meet, I want to tell you that that one of the wonderful things for me, Kim, playing this game, is I like combat. I do, and I like a good combat just like everybody else, or most people. But for me, and I love good role play, right? But for me, the crowning thing of a great adventure is mysteries, and more than one, right? So now y'all are experiencing these different tracks and these different things, and I really believe that part of making a great game is challenging your players' minds, right? Because that's what I'm trying to do with y'all is to have you. I don't want you to roll a check and then I give you the information. I want you to think about it and come up with it for yourself. And I think that is more fun, right? Like last night, I saw y'all. He said something about the coin, right? And she said something, and then all of a sudden you're like, right? Remember that? And you were like, whoa, right? And then the next thing you know, a page is turned, right, in the tale. And you're like, what's the next chapter, right? And so that, for me, and weaving that tale and bringing that kind of thing and having players who really engage, and my hat's off to really to work. But it's extra special when you have somebody who's pretty young and they step up to that plate. So that's why I wanted to say that before you get to meet Alexis, because she's adorable. She's also a great role player and really did a great job. So, all right, go.
My name's
Look
Alexis.
at the camera.
My name's Alexis. I play a Garooned barbarian named Quill, and basically, I have a sister. She basically told the backstory of what happened, so I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Did you have to beat up those?
Yes, I do.
bugmen?
I have to decapitate everything that comes in my path.
And you met the guy with the skull, right? The guy, to Muckbluck and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And he started talking about y'all, right? So, anyway, Alexa's doing great, and we are blessed and appreciative to have somebody with, such a young age to actually really role play and really throw down. So, Michelle, I'm excited that you brought your niece. So we're glad she's here.
I'm glad she's super happy.
Yeah, she got up this morning. She was excited to come play.
Oh,
excited
yes.
to come play.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. You don't want to sleep in extra?
No, she didn't want to sleep 5 more minutes.
Nice. What do you think
What's
of
that?
Little Doobie here? You like Little Doobie? I mean, Gooby. What's the name of this thing?
Doobie, Scooby,
Scooby? Is this Cubie or is this Newbie or Gooby?
Gooby.
Gooby.
Gooby. Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I understand. I didn't mean
Audience,
that.
I'm going to label them.
I remember with the green, so he's green.
They need a little name
Gooby,
tag.
but the other one's kind of
Yeah.
green too, and the other. So Christina sent these
Yes.
to us, and she made these by hand, and I think they're just wonderful, just incredible. So anyway, before we sort of talk a little bit more, I'm gonna ask some questions of our players. I promised everybody I'd give a game master tip pretty much as we're going through this thing, and the first one, the last one that I did last session was get out of your comfort zone, right? Don't be afraid to do voices. Don't be afraid to act. Don't be afraid to be over the top, right? And I jumped out of the chair and kind of attacked you last night, right? Remember that, right?
Yes.
Came over and touched your face last night, right? That kind of stuff, right? And,
I thought that was a nightmare.
Yeah,
Did that
we-
really
Yes,
happen?
with
We
permission.
need
so
phrasing.
What were you saying, Camera Mandy?
With permission.
Of course, absolutely. I asked you
Yes,
right beforehand. And once you've been playing with people a long time, if they've been around your table, they're going to get used to your style and all that kind of stuff. But the immersion, the creation of immersion, is really dependent on the entire table, right? So it's dependent on all, not just you as the game master kind of being effusive and making up a voice or doing that kind of stuff. It's also important for the players to do so. And again, you know, I say this all the time. I'm getting too old to be play with people who are not wanting to play, and if they just want to sit around and screw up the game and fool around, I'd rather not have you hang around. And I think that's totally okay for you game masters to say, you know what, this isn't working out, unless they're your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your aunt or something like that. Then you got a complexity that unfortunately I've never had to deal with, right?
Yes, you still can, but then there's consequences.
Yes, then there's a little consequence. We're kicking you from the table, Aunt Mabel. But listen. So that I want to encourage you. And part of the thing that I said, some people have actually written me after the last session, and they said, I don't do voices, all that kind of stuff. I didn't do voices either. And we are really actually blessed in this time because of hands-free talking on the phone, right? That you can drive down the road and talk to yourself and nobody looks in your car and thinks you're a weirdo. Do you understand, right? Am I making sense? So I practiced voices for years in my car. And it was great. And sometimes I'd literally get a clip of Peter Lorre, right? So I'd get a clip of Peter Lorre and I'd listen to his voice, right? And then I'd kind of do his voice and then I named that voice Peter Lorre. So whenever I think about how I'm going to have, let me find one, I don't really have them. So, right? Right? So when I'm getting a voice, I have a name that goes along with it. And then I can remember that voice and really, honestly, if you want to do voices, you don't have to do that many. And last night, because I showed you, I got no falsetto anymore. I coached a lot of basketball through the years, and it kind of messed up the nodules on my vocal cords. Anyway, so my tip for you, in terms of adding on to last time, is about voices, but I want to step beyond that. So practice voices. Start off with one or two that you like. Do voices that you can actually do. Don't try to do things that are really complicated or really out there. And practice them and name them. And when you do that, over time, you will find that falling into voices is not that hard. And over time, you'll be able to do voices and bring that to the table. And Harry said something last night, and we can't say his name, okay, so we gotta be careful about saying his name, but the effect of certain game masters on the internet right now, right?
Correct.
So what is that effect?
Yeah, so there's a lot of internet shows today that talk about where they're playing Dungeons and Dragons, and they've become shows, right? They're entertainment, and a couple of the GMs, they just wow the audience with their skill, their talent, and it's actually making it harder for GMs at the table. And that effect has been rippling through gaming right now.
Look at the camera, Harry.
Look at the camera, Harry.
Right
oh,
there.
look at the camera. There's lots of cameras.
Because you're doing really good right now.
So,
He said something.
but that effect is actually having a dampening effect on GMs, and I just want to encourage people to just be yourself, run the game, and your players they'll respond, right? And so that affect's really harmful because we have to remember, in at least one case, he's a professional voice actor, and they're now scripting the show. And so, yeah, he's going to be amazing, and but you don't have to be that amazing. And I have a confession to make. People like my table when I game, and I do not do voices, right? So, but it's about word choice. It's about your tone. You can raise your voice when you're angry. You can get quiet. You can do all the techniques that Kim talks about in his tips, but you don't have to do voices, especially if you're very self-conscious about it. Because if you become self-conscious, it actually changes the tone at the table too. So it can actually ruin the moment if you're struggling to get that voice right. So do voices if you love it and you have a friendly table. Practice when it's low-key. So in a dramatic moment, it's more comfortable. All those things will help you. But I just found that just through good word choice and making sure my tone is clear, it works almost as well as if I could do great voices. Because I only have a few, and Southern accents just do not translate to every character, even though mine's very natural. But I wouldn't encourage that unless you have a game in, the rural bayou or something.
Well, last night we had a few Southern accents
Yes,
around the
we
table.
did.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, so the voice thing, he's right. Harry's absolutely right. It's not something you have to do. I'm just telling you, if you want to do it, that's how most people would be able to achieve it. So the last tip was get out of your comfort zone. Harry definitely said that, right? Don't be intimidated. Don't be self-conscious. Don't be afraid. Don't be any of those kinds of things, because it will affect the table. And honestly, your players, if they're good players, they're going to help you, right? They're going to add to the tale, like y'all did for me. I got so much energy last night. I mean, it was, it's rolling on towards, 11 o'clock, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, do I want to keep going? I could keep this going for a little while longer, But I knew we had to get up, and obviously we're going to go all day. So, Michelle, tell me a little bit about what, when you're at the table and you're, sort of running the game, how do you kind of keep your energy up and dance that dance a little bit?
I don't know. I think you just feed off of all the other people at the table. So if the rest of the table is kind of down, you want to, I don't know, I guess just improve your mood, which will improve everybody else's mood. Fake it till you make it,
It's like feedback loop.
a little bit of energy towards your other players, maybe involving them in conversation to draw them in a little bit more.
Yeah, no, it was, so last night we had a situation in an inn where a lot of things were going on, right? There was quite a bit of different things happening, and different things to investigate and different things to find out. And so this is my tip. Okay, so this is my tip. So first and foremost, be effusive. Be out there, don't be afraid to get out of your chair. You keep the energy up and your players will feed off that energy. And then hopefully your players will do exactly what my players did last night, which is they brought the energy to the table, and you then start feeding off that because you're like, wow, they're having fun, right? Because isn't that what we all really care about in the end? People walk out the door and say, that was a great game, right? That's why we do all this, right? That's why we do all this craziness. So my tip for today, what I want you to really think about a little bit is you, as the game master, must drive the action. So our first tip, right, because this is more advanced tips, right? If you want to see sort of just basic stuff, you can see our videos. But this is more advanced stuff. So get out of your chair, be effusive, right? Be this. Try to be a larger-than-life personality, because you have to be, because there's a bunch of larger-than-life personalities that you're interacting with on a regular basis. So get out of that dang chair. But this one is the second one. So drive the action, okay? So it kept coming, right? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Last night? Kept coming, Spencer? Didn't stop,
yeah.
right? Didn't stop.
No, the Goo train doesn't stop.
It does not. Well done, sir. Yes, well done. In fact, here, I will give you a Gooey rewards card for that comment. That is marvelous.
So he's got 2 and I got 0.
I'm
Thank you,
sorry
Sean.
about that, bro. You just roll bad, bro. Oh, no, you can't give him a Gooey rewards card.
Why not?
Yeah, if he gives you $50 and you split it with me. That's the So the thing I'm saying to you is that I don't let you all I don't sit back and sort of wait on you, right? You see that, right? There are game masters who do, and I again, I don't throw shade on anybody's style, right? People's style is their own style, and their table, if they're loving their game, that's their game. But for me, if I keep pushing on you, right? You hear something, you see something, you remember something, right? If I keep pushing that forward, and all of that sort of dances within the scope of the adventure that you're playing, right? The threads start coming together, and all of a sudden you have an epiphany moment last night when you're sitting with Chandra, right? And Spencer says to you, right? And you go, wow, right? And so that is my real tip. And what does that mean to push the action? So when you get our stuff, you will see that in the adventure, there are NSREs, not so random encounters. Because I believe, and I believe for a long time, that random encounters are kind of silly. It's better to have encounters and events that are happening that take place as part of the tale. That's what Gooey additions are as well. Gooey additions are these little tidbits, these little strange things that happen that add to the tale and then bring it up. So that's my second tip. Push the action, drive the action. Don't let your players sit around too much contemplating and trying to figure out what to do next. And remember, this is not real life. It might be 3 weeks since you played the last time. You can't expect them to remember every little detail as if it was real life and they were living it and they were just there an hour ago, right? So keep in mind that if you drive the action, if you keep pushing the action, the table energy will keep up. We didn't really use energy, right? Did we?
No,
Michelle?
not really,
Right?
no.
But you're saying that's true for a lot of tables. But sometimes, like one of my main groups is I didn't actually have to add a lot of the pushing energy. They would banter back and forth and
Absolutely.
make all kinds of threads themselves.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
So you can help move it along and shape that energy instead of pushing them because they
they've
they know where
already
they're
got
going.
you are absolutely right, Spencer. That, by the way, just understand, if they're going, you run with it, right? It's what I'm trying to say to you is if they're not going, don't sit around and hope. Hope is not a strategy, right?
Wait.
Yeah, don't wait.
It's just a hangout session, all night.
Yeah, then you're just drinking whiskey, right?
Exactly.
Sorry, Cameron Mendy. I don't drink whiskey
then
ever.
you're drinking Coca-Cola and pretzels.
Yeah,
exactly.
Coca-Cola and pretzels. Yes, exactly. So push the action. Don't be afraid to do that. Bring lots of little things. So I mean, like last night. So in the inn, can we talk about the inn for a minute? All right, remember the inn?
For a minute or two, yeah.
So a lot of times, what happens? You want to wrap up soon, Mandy?
No, we just have other things to do.
All right, I'll do this quick. So we're in the inn last night. There's the creepy guys in the corner, right? There's the 3 goofy gnomes. There's the 2 merchants, right?
Yep.
There's the crazy old guy with the skull, right? There's the really kind of interesting guy sitting at the table at the
Yeah,
bar
yeah.
with the flesh gone.
Yeah,
yeah.
The doctor in the flesh. going
Yeah,
on.
Dr. Krevenstein, or as
Yeah.
Mike said, Dr. Kravenstein,
Kravenstein.
right?
Totally.
love that
No
movie.
relation to any other Steins. It's fine.
And then we beyond all that, we had the dwarves.
Yes.
We had the dwarven adventuring band.
The 6 dwarves.
Yes, and then suddenly in the middle of the whole thing, a ghost comes walking in, right?
Ghost girl.
And all of that stuff
Sounds like
was germane. So you had a lot to do,
Oh, yeah.
and time went fast. Feel like, right?
Right by.
Yeah.
Zoom.
Always.
So, yeah, well, that's the problem with gaming, right? Is
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're sitting there. It's like you were talking about here. Yeah, when we were kids, right? The
Yeah,
start
you
on
used to
Friday
play.
You sit down to start,
after school on Friday until Sunday night. You remember you had homework. and
Yeah.
then you had to play.
You sit down to
And you
start.
crammed it in the last hour.
You sit down at 6 or 5, and then you look up at the clock and go, "Oh my goodness, it's 10."
What happened?
All right, I promise, Cameron Mendy, we're done. So
Well, before we finish up this segment, I want to have everyone go around and either give their own GM tip or their own player tip.
oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Who wants to start?
Harry's going to start because he is a very advanced DM.
I'm an advanced
You're
DM.
advanced. Wow.
I would like
Professional.
Harry to tell people how long he's also been DMing.
Oh, well, okay, yeah.
I've
Game
been,
mastering, Cameron
Game
Mendy.
mastering.
well, dungeon master is a generic phrase. DM is trademark. So you can say dungeon master and be safe. So I was a dungeon master since I was 11 years old. So you can tell by my looks that was there was dinosaurs outside the cave when we started playing. So quite some time ago. One of the things that's a really great tip, and I think people overlook it a lot, is try and keep the distractions to a minimum, right? So, everybody's got their cell phone. In fact, we have a player that actually plays games on his phone while we're gaming. And if that's acceptable at the table, that's one thing, but the distractions can be a challenge, especially when you're trying to get immersion. So avoiding the distractions is probably the strongest tip I could give for a successful game.
That's a really good one. And I tend to ask folks to not, unless they're using their phones for their character sheets or something like that.
Absolutely.
And my friend Stan's got an app where it rolls the dice on his phone, right? And the good thing about that is I always know when Stan rolls a bad roll because it goes wah wah wah.
That's pretty good, actually.
So my phone doesn't do that, but I do that.
Wah wah wah. All right, Spencer, what you got?
I already gave the main tip I was thinking of because
That's
I have
good.
active players. I don't usually have that. It was only one of my groups. So it's not as common as usually they sit and really indecisive. So you don't just sit and wait as the DM because they'll just keep arguing for hours. So but if they have the energy, you try to guide instead of telling them where to go, and they'll almost write the adventure for you.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
you don't even have to improvise. Almost, it's really simple for some DMs, not all, but it helps me.
Okay. Michelle?
I guess my biggest tip would be to really bring acknowledgement to the players at your table that maybe aren't as good at role playing or are quite shy, who don't know how to speak up. Make sure to acknowledge them and bring them in on your terms,
That's so good.
so that they don't get lost in the game and not want to play.
Yeah, actually, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of GMing in stores. I teach D&D, right? And when you let strangers come together, you really have to let them be themselves. And so while at Kim's table, often he says, you can't say I do this or I did this. You actually do it as a character. But when you're with strangers and you're at a table, you allow that and say, if you want to describe what your character's going to do, just do that if that makes you more comfortable. And even without rounds of combat, I go around the table.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? So they still get to participate because the vocal players will take over.
Yes, absolutely. And take over really sometimes like over the top takeover, and you kind of have to rein them back, right? You have to pull them back. But like last night, right? Same thing, right? What do you do, right? You do the thing, right? And all of a sudden, what did I do to you, right? You did this thing. You're right at the edge of the thing you're going to do, and I go, wait a minute, and then go over there, right?
The other thing
You know what those
actually
are?
added to that. The one thing added to your thing though is because you're talking in character usually. The reason I like when you can say I said or we did is because you can also separate out of character and in character.
Yeah.
I've had trouble with that a lot for two of my players.
You have to adapt your table to the players that you're playing with. You know, the Angry GM, who I love, if you've ever read the Angry GM stuff. And now, it is slightly profane, so you have to be prepared for that. But he wrote some things, and this was based on some other research, that there's lots of different kinds of gamers that sit at the table, and you have to play to those different kinds of gamers. Some are very shy and withdrawn and really only there because they just want to be with their friends. That's the real reason they're at the table. They're not at the table because they really love the game. They might like the game, but they're there to be with their friends. And some players are there because they are total crazy leader, right? This is why it's so appealing to military, right? Because they're out there friggin' whacking, right? Right, James? Yes, right, James? Yeah, Lawrence, right? All you crazy, yeah, right.
I kicked down the door.
Yeah, kick down the door. All right, you got one for us?
Like, if you want to say something, don't really just keep it to yourself. Kind of just say it.
Right.
Very
And
good.
you did. And that was what was so great last night. Literally, you don't know, because I talked to Michelle ahead of time. She says, she hasn't really role played very much, right? All that kind of stuff. And you did great. I mean, really, really. And by the way, I have players around this table, Elle included back there, right? Hey, Elle. And Mikey was playing with us. And just like you and you three did, bringing her along a little bit and encouraging her rather than being a discouragement, which is exactly your tip. Because players make the game. The game master facilitates, but players make the game. And that is the bottom line. All right, Mandy, you got something else?
I think the last thing is the West Vernestia.
Oh yeah, that's right. Elle's gonna bring it. Didn't we showed that yesterday when Michelle came in, right? Come on, Elle, come on, just walk by that camera.
Run!
Obviously, we don't care if heads are in the way of cameras in this show.
Yeah,
We don't do
no.
any- All right,
the
everyone,
production
give a hand to
value.
Elle. Yeah. Marvelous.
The lovely assistant. Come on.
I mean, they couldn't
Come on.
really see. They only saw her hands and a bit of her face.
Lovely assistant. Come on.
Yeah, lovely assistant.
There, exactly.
Elle and I look great today. We're gonna take a picture. And
Elle.
We do. Yeah.
Mandy's all done for the Ren Fair, and Elle just wore a cool outfit. She's going to role play with us and game with us a little bit here in a little bit, right, Elle? We're going to do that. And I want to tell you about this. This is really special to me and to our team because this is the first thing that we have ever made that was truly collaborative with our. What do you want me to do? Raise
Hold
it
it
up?
up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have a DM screen.
Okay, look, how about that?
There you
Yeah.
go.
My apologies. Thank
Look
you,
at this,
Mandy.
but don't see it.
Yes. So this is the first tome that we have produced. It has like 30-some contributor submissions inside of it. We had quite a number of folks help co-author in different sections, Chris, Michelle, and Christy. Carrie obviously was incredible in helping put this tome together. Alexander. We had Jim. We had Jens who helped us with editing. Ali, of course, at the Goo crew. AJ was phenomenal. And
I'm going to have you stop listing names because we're at 11:01. But just know that we love all of you guys and we appreciate you.
Yes, all right. So all of you, thank you for helping make this beginning of the dream real, of this collaborative world. And I know it wasn't supposed to be this big, but it ended up being this big. And
awesome.
It's got incredible artwork. Yeah, it's got
fantastic.
It's great all the way through, you know.
Yeah, it's readable and it's not 5-point type, you know. And I think if you like history and you like lore and you like to build things around that, I think West Verdesi is going to blow your mind. All right. Anything else, Camera Mendy?
That is it for today. Let's
right.
say thank you to our guests.
Thanks for coming to Goo Morning, Zyathé, and thanks to all of you all for your incredible game last night and for coming to be with us and for supporting us in the Kickstarter and helping us in a time that was really tough on us, and it's tough on the world really, but it was tough on old Gooey Cube. So, all right, that's all I got. Elle, you got anything?
Nah, let's do it.
Kevin Mendy?
Thank you all so much. We love you.
May all your adventures be sticky.